So I will switch it over. You can see the data mining project, and we're going to get right into it. So first off, I'm just going to explain what's happening. This is, once again, the first running of the data mining project. And so not the first running, the first version of the data mining project. So this was the version that was successful in its initial run. But since then, I have run it to completion, essentially. Once there was somewhat of an error at the end, which caused me to have to stop the running that was actually almost successful at the end of the last stream. So what happened was there was an error when the deep list is attempting to update in order to acquire the variables that have been implemented in the new best programs. This is a problem that I fixed in later versions, but I didn't fix that before I started running this because I wanted it to be untouched. But then I realized that that's kind of stupid because that doesn't really help the process. But so I fixed it, but it essentially required me to restart the program anyways. So I just ended that running and began the next one. Now I can go tell you what the best score was in that circumstance. So let me get down to the bottom here. The best score was actually, I want to read it to you. It was 6. It was on the scale of 6 million, whereas the normal fuzz scores are around 11 million and up. So that means that they're a little bit more significant than the so this score was about half of those, and that's usually what it starts getting at when it starts getting to a better equation. Now the equation that was associated with that was the variable 2 times variable 4 plus variable 1 plus the quantity of variable 4 times variable 1 plus variable 5 minus variable 6. And so this last term in the parentheses, variable 5 minus variable 6, isn't really important, but the rest of them are pretty important because variable 2 times variable 4 is something that happens, variable 1 times variable 4 is something that happens, and those terms being added together is something that happens in the equation. There's an extra variable 1 in there, but that's not too significant for the shape of the equation. And so the second equation was very similar, except for that last term that was variable 5 minus variable 6 was just one variable, and that variable was variable 1. So both of these equations show promise of having of being better and getting to the actual answer, but like I said, there was that error that occurred when there was some deep learning trying to happen, and it wouldn't allow it because there was too much. The problem was that the way it was set up, the program could only really add in one variable at a time. So if two variables came up and both of them needed to be added in, then it became problematic, and that's what happened. If you run something for a long time, even a small probability of an event happening tends to add up into where it actually does happen. So that's the situation. Right now, the current best program has a score of about 12 million, and the equation is variable 1 times variable 4 plus variable 4. So there's a lot that's good about that, but it does have some work that needs to be done. The second equation is actually the same equation, which, as you'll remember, was a problem with this version of the data mining project. Now, you may hear some dog barking in the background. I think my girlfriend's sister just came home, but we'll just keep moving on. So that's what's happening. It's not much new, but I did mention in the previous stream, if you want to go listen to that, about a possible new alternative to the genetic process of that I'm attempting here in order to achieve the data mining project. So I want to make sure I'm in the frame. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to move into my topics for today. And I do have full topics today. And those topics are logarithms and the Alfred Kinsey scale. So I'll be explaining those more when I get to it. But for now, I'm just going to go straight into my first topic. So I'll give it a second and then I will begin logarithms.